Hello, welcome to Battle Topics. I'm your host, Clayton. I have a very special guest, a Fresh Coast veteran.
Hey.
We have Pass here. Pass, what up, what up?
What's happening? Ruin your day. What's up with it?
No, how they gonna like me now? No, how they gonna like me now? Lil Boosie, wipe me down. Boy, I put more niggas in check than Nike Town. Town fucking business, nigga. Round one, let's go.
Thanks for having me.
There are many topics that we could touch on today. One interesting topic that not a lot of people can talk about other than you is starting battling so young in the era that you started in. According to Verse Tracker, your first on-cam YouTube uploaded video was in 2006, over a decade ago. And you've done everything from battle on beats, freestyle battles, all the way up to like when battles had points or judging and like records, and then now in the promo era and all. You've been through every era. So I kind of wanted to talk to you about how was it back when you started so young, and how'd you start out, and let it roll.
I'll try to not make this super long-winded. So me starting like battle rap and stuff, like at the time it wasn't like a thing, you know what I mean? Like it was very, like right now, if you think of battle rap as like a very, very popular subculture of like hip hop or whatever, it wasn't even that like to the degree it is now, you know what I mean? Like it was very minimal, and this is like before 8 Mile, you know what I mean? Like it was very different. So my first, this might sound like stupid or like new booty to like, some of the older heads or whatever, but my first exposure to like battle rap was House Party when Kid and Play battled in the movie or whatever. And it was like the first time I noticed people like dissing each other in the form of like rap or poetry or whatever over beats and shit. And I was like, that's hilarious. It's tight. It's like aggressive. It's competitive, but it's also fun. You know what I mean? And then fast forward hella years, like listening to Sway and Tech on the radio, the Wake Up Show. You know what I mean? Like midnight. It was me and my brother, my older brother, and we're just listening to the radio or whatever. And then we just hear them. They play. It's like a replay of Juice versus Supernatural. And then I was like, damn, this is amazing. You know what I mean? And it was like another like. In that moment, I'm, my ear to the radio, me and my brother, it was like that shit captured us. It was like we were in the room, you know what I mean? And it was like intense. And then fast forward again, I see the Blaze battle on, HBO or whatever, Idea, and damn, hella other people that I'm slipping on right now. Respect to all of them, but Shells, you feel me, and hella people that were super nice back then, and rest in peace, Idea and all that. So, and at that time, I was like starting to just like rap in general. I was making music. I was in the studio a lot. At this point, I'm like 12, 13 years old. And so I was just hella excited about hip hop in general. I was like researching everybody, Eminem and Crooked Eye and all the like dope shit, you feel me, underground shit. Yeah, I just kind of got in those circles and was freestyling at different events. I'd be outside of functions. I wouldn't even go inside sometimes. I'd just be freestyling outside, and then this battling just kind of happened, you know what I mean? Like somebody else think they're the man, and me being the young dude at the time, everybody wanted to see me like go at it, and I would do it, and I would hold my own, and people just showed me respect for that, in a lot of different circles, like from the hood circle to the hip hop circle to like at school, all that shit. So it was an interesting time, and back then it was really about like just like being hungry and and it was like the spontaneity of it really was like the driving kind of adrenaline for it, really. It was like not knowing what you're about to say next, you feel me? And it didn't have to be like some amazing, like well put together line. It just had to be like something with some kind of substance to it that, any kind of execution that was proper just was like, it lit the room up, you know what I mean? And that's not to say that it was more watered down back then. It was just like, like you're freestyling, you know what I mean? And you're playing whatever beat you just have on deck at that moment, you dig? So it was a cool moment, cool time.
So you went from Scribble Jam battling in formats like that, and then correct me if I'm wrong, but you versus Illusion Z, wasn't that one of the first Grind Time West Coast events? Period. I forget exactly what event that was. But
I believe it was the first.
The first, I knew there was some significance behind it. So how was it going from battling on beats and freestyle and all that to now transitioning to a new format? How was that?
Well, truthfully, like I always wanted to do this kind of format. It just didn't exist in a format. You know, since you brought up Scribble Jam or whatever, like that was, you know, I like quit after Scribble Jam battling. You know what I mean? Like,
Wow.
like, all right, I'm done. You feel me? Like, got ate by Iron Solomon or whatever, and I was like 17 or 16 or something, and I was just like, I think I'm good on this. You feel me? Like, it's not for me.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, after that, I took a break, but I was always like, it's something like Fight Club or Smack or whatever. If some shit like that, like the acapella, like format comes back, I'm definitely fucking with it. You know what I mean? I'll come back.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, Grind Time started popping up, seen Lush go out there, you know what I mean? And this whole time I've been cool with Lush, like, since I was about 14, you know what I mean? So he's been the homie, and he hit me up, was like, you should do this shit because you could do this shit, you know what I mean? And so, yeah, it was the transit. So it wasn't really a transition necessarily because I'd been out the game for like a few years, I think, you know what I mean? Like 2-3
Mm-hmm.
years. And I wasn't thinking about it really. So I was just like juiced to just rap, you know what I mean? So it was fair.
You were still eager to get back in the ring, but if it stayed in the format of on beat freestyle, you were refusing to come back.
Yeah, I was over that. I think I wasn't trying to be like the Scribble Jam champ at the time, you know what I mean? And so I was just like, you know, I was working on, I put out a mixtape with my brother Apes, you know, around that time. But yeah, I just wasn't super into it, but I was always like, yo, if it comes back like in that format, I don't care. I'll do that shit. I don't care who it is, whatever, blah, blah, blah.
So whenever
you know
Grind Time came back, did it like reignite the fire? Was it exactly what you had hoped it to be?
Sort of, yeah. I mean, it was just, at the time, I just wanted to rap, like, and it was fun. You know what I mean? Like, I didn't get paid to do that shit, I don't think. Like, you know, and I just wanted to, like, I didn't give a fuck. I can't even sit here and say it like I did it for the exposure. I just did it because I wanted to do it because it was fun. Yeah. And I wanted to just show people that I was like that nigga from Oakland, you feel me? So like that was what drove the motivation for me to do that, really, you know?
Yeah, dope. So then Grind Time obviously had its trajectory, and the written era started and to become more of a normality. They also had like, that was a age of having records like 1-0 and 2-3 or whatever, being undefeated and all that shit. So do you feel that like your experience from going from freestyling on beat helped you at all or hindered you when it went to acapella written?
I don't know if it's a hindrance or if it was an advantage, really. And I don't know if that would even come from like that era or if it would be because of like the music shit. You know what I mean? Like most of the folks that were in that era rapping on beats, they were making music. Like nobody was really out there just battling. You know what I'm saying? Like the way it is now. Like nowadays, you have people straight up will admit, like the top guys. You feel me? Like some of the names you mentioned, like, you know what I mean? Will just straight up admit, like, I don't even give a fuck about making music. You know what I mean? And so I think that really is what, like, if anything was a hindrance or an advantage, sort of, which I think still lives with me, is that element of like coming from a musical kind of background or a music making, you know, background or whatever. Because that shit it's not a trend. You know, I think that my shit is different because of that, and I think that my shit reaches all different types of people because of that, and I'm not really trying to confine my style or delivery or whatever with any kind of trend or whatever's popping. Like, if you look back to my shit with Hollow, and if you look back to my shit against Arsenal, it's very similar, you know what I mean? And it's not, you know, and that's just how my shit is going to be. It's not dictated by what's necessarily trendy right now or whatever.
Well, you do have like a very, very, very diverse resume, especially in comparison to a lot of people that are still battling. You battled, obviously, we touched on Scribble Jam and all that stuff, but you went to King of the Dot. You've battled on URL. You've battled overseas multiple times. You battled in basements. You've done it all. So you are a jack of all trades. So that's why I wanted to bring this topic up. But we can switch gears a little bit. You were mentioning earlier about the quote unquote authenticity in battle rap, correct?
Yeah, yeah.
It seems to be highly debated on like believability and like qualities like that. So what's your take on the authenticity, knowing your background in history and longevity you have within battle rap?
Here's what I think, because it's definitely complicated, and I don't think that there's like an easy answer to this or whatever. And it's very similar to most art forms, you know what I mean? Whether it's like painting, you know, hip hop in general, music, battle rap, movies, whatever. It's who's telling the story, you know what I mean? And things like that. And I think that to a certain extent, there is a creative license to romanticize yourself or your character, you know what I mean? Like that's mandatory doing this, you know what I mean? Like to a certain extent. What that extent is, I don't necessarily know the answer, but it really does to me come down to like how people say things and like how serious they take themselves in and outside the battle, you know what I mean? How they present themselves and shit. And you know, like you have some guys who are square, lanky white boys from the suburbs, but they talking gun and hood talk, and they say it and it sounds tight, but then that's not a part of their like universe whatsoever. You know what I mean? And so that type of thing does bother me a little bit because it's hard to explain and without kind of like sound like a dick or whatever.
You think it's like they're almost like being satirical or like openly appropriating and stuff like that?
Yeah, I mean, I more so it's like openly appropriating, unintentionally maybe, like parodying a life that real people are living and trying to like, you know, talk about. And some people, yes, who live that life talk about it, they glamorize it, they glorify it, but some are talking about it with a real perspective and bringing, you know, kind of poignant commentary to where they are coming from. That's respectable to me. And even if you weren't the one doing all that dirt, but you trying to talk about your friend's story so you can get him to stop doing that shit or get somebody else who is like him to stop doing shit or, you know, whatever, like that's a small example, but that's just one example of how like that creative license kind of comes into play. But to me, like, you know, when you have guys, it's like, I got the shotty in the trunk. It's like, do you? Like, where is it? Like, because I grew up, my partners really did, you feel me? And they wasn't rappers, you dig? Like, and shit like that. But it's a fine line and it's tricky, but like, it doesn't really have to be explained to me. Like, you know what I mean? Like me and my partners, we watch somebody and we'd be like, that nigga's dope. We don't even need to check his credentials, you feel me? Like, just because we can tell by the way he maneuvers. But then we watch somebody else and it's like, what? You know what I mean? And it's like, and you know I mentioned earlier, like, you know, a tall, lanky white dude or whatever, but I'm not just talking about, you know, anybody could appropriate another person's or another group of people's experience or whatever and try to like capitalize off it. And that shit is weak to me. You know what I mean? Like, so
what do you think separates somebody from, or like how can you tell if someone's being authentic? Like if you're seeing someone battle for the first time, what's the thing that stands out that can help you generalize if they're being authentic or not?
I don't think it's anything you can put a finger on, truthfully. You know what I mean? Like if you come from a certain life, you recognize that shit. Or even if you know, you know what I mean? Not even if you come from that life, you just people, if you're a real person, no matter what walk of life you identify with, you can recognize authenticity. You know what I mean? And you can recognize somebody who is just talking or somebody who's really believes what they say. You know what I mean? And some people believe their own bullshit that they say, so that doesn't always work either, you know, but like, you know, I do, I do think that like, you just know, man, like when I see Carter Deems, I believe him.
That's a good example. And he doesn't have to be talking all this like shotgun in the trunk type stuff, but people respect him because they feel that he's playing who he actually is rather than putting on a front. Yeah,
exactly. And I think I think that he has, used a gun bar or whatever, but in his situation, it's like clearly like, I'm joking, guys, you know what I mean? Like type of thing. You feel me? So I'm cool with that. You know what I mean? In a certain way, like he is exactly how he is. I met him. He is like that. You feel me? Like this shit is not fully a joke. You feel me? Like, so, but we respect that and we love that. We fuck with Carter Deems. You feel me? Because he's talented and because he's just being himself. Yeah. And you can tell when somebody's being themselves, and you can tell when somebody is manufacturing something they saw on Gangland or like Hood to Hood DVD or whatever. You feel me? And it's just different. For me, for example, I rap about a lot of shit. I think I done dabbled in, you know, like whatever the street talk and the nerd shit or whatever, you know, quote unquote nerd shit, the backpack shit, the lyrical, spiritual miracle shit. Yeah. And I think that that's just because I've literally have dabbled in all of that in my life. You know what I mean? And that's like really a representation of who I am. You know, like I didn't have friends doing all sorts of crazy shit. I'm a square, basically. You feel me? I mean, I'm not though, but like, you know what I mean? Like, you know, I have 2 kids and a lady, you feel me? But I done grown up and I done seen a lot of shit and been involved with some shit and had some friends who done been through a lot of shit too. So, you know, I try to speak on all those experiences in everything, whether it's music, battle rap, you know, other creative endeavors that I'm working on or whatever. Shit like that.
So how much do you think, like, let's say you take Battler X and he has like really good material and all that, but for whatever reason you don't necessarily quote unquote believe what he's saying, how much does that actually take away from the battle itself?
To put it like harshly, basically, like that to me, if I'm not feeling it, then I don't think it's good material. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like if you have some amazing line, but I just have that feeling in my gut that you're a sucker and I don't believe you, then it's not good material to me. You know what I mean? I'm not the end all be all of like, you know, I'm not no battle rap god or whatever. This is my opinion. But yeah, like if I seen Carter Dean versus MC Whoop-de-Whoop and the other guys like saying some shit that's hard as fuck, but he's like looks like a buster, or I know he's a buster and he just is kind of talking out the side of his neck, and I'm just like, okay, you know, then I'm not feeling him, you know what I mean? And and so for me, it does take away. I'm just like, okay, man, he said a line, it sounded great, but I just don't like that shit, you know? So it's the same thing with music, like, you know, same type of concept applies there.
Yeah, totally. I think one or a couple good examples is Head Ice is one of the people that the way he carries himself and his persona like carries so much respect that it's helped him climb to the ranks in a lot of people's eyes to the position he's at now. And another example would be even Geechee Gotti versus Saint. Did you saw that battle?
Yeah, I was thinking
Geechee,
of that as well.
Geechee, same thing goes for them. Geechee, just his persona and his demeanor helped him project in that battle.
Yeah, I mean, I think that, like, to your first example, Head Ice, like, if you go back and watch the Whoop-de-Whoop, what's it called? The Lion's Den battles and stuff. Like, if you watch them shits, you don't really know, like, you first watch, you know, go back to the first time you ever seen, like, a Head Ice battle. You don't even really understand why he's so good, but you just know that shit is hard as fuck. And you see the people around him, and you know, these are people that know him or know of him or whatever, and know he's real about his shit, and everything he says is hard. They reacting to it, and it makes you just kind of, it gives you that emotional kind of provocation or whatnot. You know what I mean? And it makes you be like, damn, that nigga saying some real ass shit. You feel me? And like, you might not even 100% understand what he's saying, but it's like you still relate to the feeling.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? So that's why, in my opinion, sometimes the feeling is more important than you know, a really like a complicated bar about what your gun could do to somebody. You know what I mean? Like sometimes, like,
that's kind of at the end of the day what people are searching for. You know, whatever direction you take to get someone to that wow feeling, whether it be a rebuttal or a haymaker or whatever. Yeah, exactly. However you get there.
Same thing with Geechee. Like his line in that shit was incredible against Saint, where he was like, I ain't never had a nightmare about it or any kind of dream. You know what I mean? When he said that shit, I was like, dog, that's crazy as fuck. You feel me? Like, I didn't heard people say shit like that before. You know what I mean? But like, not entirely like that. Like, that's not a complicated line, but that's such a complicated like emotion. You know what I mean? To feel that people don't know about. You dig? Like, that's some real shit. You feel me? Like, so to me, that's more poignant and more important than like some kind of like associative like wordplay or whatever, you know, like that's a feeling. That's why that was so good, is because it gave you the feeling, you know what I mean? So, you know.
Could you argue that authenticity or like the quote unquote believability, is that something that can be learned over time, or is it one of those things that it's like you got it or you don't, and if you don't have it, don't bother trying type deal? Or
no, I don't think you can learn to how do I say this? I think that anybody who's starting some kind of creative anything or whatever eventually has to like get over hurdles and boundaries and then be comfortable with themselves and just enough so they could be themselves. You know what I mean? And not everybody just starts immediately like that. They got to figure out, like, damn, if I just do me, they'll love it. You know, like I went through that. You know what I mean? Like I was doing a few battles where I was trying to cater to the crowd, where I knew I'd be in Sweden or whatever, and trying to cater to the audience. When really, if I just done me, it would have went off. You know.
Yeah.
So I don't think that, you know, it's impossible to say, you know, you can become authentic, you can become yourself. Anybody could do that, but I don't think you can. Like, if you believe you're authentic and you're not, then that's a problem. You know what I'm saying? Like, if
yeah,
you think
totally.
that if you going around like I'm a real nigga, blood, you feel me? But really, you a buster, you feel me? You a J-Cat, then I ain't fuck with you. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I
like,
think we actually had spoken
no
to. I think we had actually spoken to Carter before, and he had said, like, in his beginning battles, he used to say stuff that he definitely would not say now, and he looks back on those and is kind of ashamed at like how far he strayed from his actual persona just to try to fit into the mold of what people thought he wanted to be. So to find that niche, obviously, if you were to say, oh yeah, there's going to be a battler named Carter Deems who's going to rap about cats and da-da-da-da, and he's going to go up with the likes of Head Ice. If you would have said that, people would roll their eyes, you know, but you have to kind of create your own lane, I guess.
Yeah, that's what you have to do in anything. You know what I mean? Like, just do you. Just do you to the fullest. But I mean, shit, I'm still learning how to do me. You know, I've been doing this for over a decade, like you said, you know, and like it's a learning process that probably never ends, really, you know. So just try your best, guys.
Totally off topic.
Okay, so first question, pretty straightforward. Which article of clothing do you think has more street cred in the Fresh Coast? Your backpack or Awkward's Kangol?
That's for sure. It's for sure my backpack, because you don't know what's in there.
You don't know. Hey, you don't know what's in his Kangol, man. I mean, he might got something.
I know that's true. He got the chopper. He got the chopper.
I got the chopper in the Kangol.
Honestly, I'll be honest. It might be Awkward's Kangol, because he's like the blackest white boy like I've ever known.
Yeah.
But nah, his shit is. If you want to talk about authenticity, this nigga Awkward is real as fuck. Like I done been out in his, you know, I've been to Stockton, kicked it with him, kicked it with his folks and all that. Like he is not a sucker, blood. Like everybody wants to roast Awkward in the battle rap world, and he is. He's authentic. That Kangol is kind of like proof, because if you're not a black person wearing a Kangol around black people and they let you do it, you got to be solid. So there it is.
Damn. All right. Well, that settles the debate, I guess. Okay. So next question. What would be more disappointing to you, or what was more disappointing to you? The Warriors choking in the playoffs or the Raiders moving to Vegas?
That's like the hardest question ever. This question is like making me upset right now. It might be the Warriors losing just because they were so close. And the thing is, like in the Raiders, like it's not official really yet, right? Like
I don't know. I mean, as far as I can tell,
the city of Oakland is like
promising.
offering hella money. I think, like the mayor of Oakland. I just seen something where they're like trying to still make it happen. So. I'll go with the Warriors, because that officially happened. They really lost, and it really sucked.
Yeah, and you're still holding on to that slim chance of the Raiders staying true.
Yeah, I'll hold on to that. Definitely. I have to.
You got to. Okay, so next question. What advice would you give to aspiring teenage battle rappers watching that would like to grow facial hair before they're actual adults?
If you a teenager, you can't grow facial hair. I would say you can go to the costume store. You can get a really tight beard. Like at least fake the funk. Like you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like I know we talked about authenticity, but you know, not when it comes to your beard. Like if you don't got a beard, you gotta have one. So
yeah, that's like the peak of authenticity. Man. You can't fake that shit.
But I mean, truthfully, I was in like 8th grade shaving because I just had to.
Yeah.
To get my shit lined up, buying swishers for my partners and all that. Yeah.
You had a beard. You had a beard in battle rap before. Having beards in battle rap was cool, man. You know.
Yeah, I know. Now everybody trying to hop on it. I see it. It's all good.
All right. So next question: which battle would you be more likely to accept? A rematch with Iron Solomon or a rematch with Skelly but you got 5 pounds of weed with it.
Ooh, 5 pounds? Damn. Probably the battle of iron, truthfully. That's fucked up. But yeah, I'd probably do the iron shit just because weed is not too hard to find. I know a lot of people. And, the footage, like battle with iron, that'll last forever. So if I had to choose, might depend on what the bag is for the iron battle, but I would lean towards that. I can't do both, man. What's happening?
Yeah, hey man, that's the peak right there, man. Fucking title match, man. Give me Skelly with 5 pounds of weed.
I know. What's up? Sounds more appealing now. I'm thinking about it more.
Okay, so next question. Your name you used to go by Passwords, and you changed it to Pass. So since you or the artist formerly known as Passwords, what would you guess is Caustic's password?
What I guess is password.
Just for science reasons.
Yeah. What password to what?
Password to
Email.
Everything. Password to his PayPal, preferably.
I don't know. His password is probably like I hate everyone because that nigga hates everyone.
Or I'm swole. Yeah, I can bench 225, something like that.
Yeah, it's probably like I hate everyone and I can bench 220. 1982 or whatever.
Yeah, 1982.
Shout out, Caustic.
All right, dope. All right, man. So we'll wrap this up. So you got a battle coming up.
Yes.
Blackout, that mystery
Indeed.
event. That's dope.
Yes.
Fun fact: Blackout 6, your battle with Bishop was actually my first battle that I ever filmed, and I was hella fucking nervous.
Oh, really?
About it. Yeah, I was like stiff as fuck, dude. That was the first battle I ever filmed.
Nice.
I remember that event already being like super hot, like the ceiling was dripping. You can see it in like Diz versus Iron. There's like that cloud of like sweat in the air. But yeah,
really? Damn.
you got Blackout coming up.
Yeah.
So what you got to tease the fans a little bit for this next Blackout?
Yes, yeah. I'll say a couple things. Yeah, I've been active, but this is different. I took some time off to go in the chamber and you know what I mean, drink some tea and smoke some sativa and shit, and you know what I mean, trying to like get my shit together. But yeah, last year I had some, a couple of not so amazing performances, if you will, and which you live and learn, But I'm about to be ready in a different way. Like I'm almost done with my material. It's just 3 weeks away, which is very ahead of schedule for me. So
yeah,
I feel really confident. What I'll say about my opponent is that my opponent is very dope. This is a battle that was supposed to happen a long time ago, actually, very long time ago, but it never happened. It's a lot of people are giving predictions. I have not really seen too many predictions about this or accurate predictions. It's somebody that people have asked for me a long time ago. So it's gonna be dope. If my opponent does what they're supposed to do, it could be a classic. You know what I mean? So not how niggas say classic now, but
yeah, like an actual authentic classic.
An authentic classic. It could be something that if my opponent does what they're supposed to do, then it could be a classic. Yeah.
All right. Sick.
So I'm juiced.
Sick. So that's April 14th, 15th in Toronto. We got Pass vs. Carter Deems going down. So make sure you tune in.
I'm about to just catapult a cat at Carter Deems. That's the catapult. You feel me?
Oh damn!
I just gave one of my bars away, bro.
Damn, you helping him out already? Shit. Okay.
I know, it's all good. You can have that.
That
ain't even
taste.
when I'm mad
That's
at you. Feel me? That's right. Man, I appreciate y'all, man. Shout out to Ruin Your Day. Shout out to Avocado. Shout out to the homies, Clayton, Laughing Stock. Y'all know what I mean?
Dope. Yay. Thanks, man. I'll talk to you later, all right?
Hey, good looking out, man. I'll hit you later.
All right, thanks, man. I appreciate it.
Peace, bro.